everybody. Evan from HIMedia here, and I got a quick question for you. What does success mean to you? Answer a question by my boy PT Sean, by the way. Check him out right there. College is expensive for a multitude of reasons. Depending on where you are on the political spectrum, it could be a multitude of different things. Neoconservatives and arch-conservatives believe that having college loans backed by the government are the reason why colleges can make them so expensive. Meanwhile, us liberals think it's simply for the fact that because cutting college spending on the state level reduces the tax burden on the layman, it's popular, and it's an easy way for state politicians to lower taxes and gain popular following in their state at the cost of students paying exorbitant fees for their college and their schooling. But that being said, I think that there is a more historical argument to these things. That's where I get to my question. At the end of the day, throughout history, you didn't need necessarily an exorbitant education to live, depending on the era, live a middle-class life. As technology advances, you very well need more and more education to have a basic standard of living. In the beginning, you didn't need to know how to read, write, or even in some cases effectively communicate, and you could shell out a living and have a family and be successful. Now, the success being measured at the time was being able to live to 50 and not die a horrible death by that point. You fast forward to colonial times, and everybody should be able to do a little bit of math, a little bit of reading, because everybody owns a farm or a business to maintain their livelihood. But you're not necessarily, if you're living in a populous area, you're not necessarily starving. You flash forward to the 20th century, where if you have a high school, a middle school, or even a middle school education, you can shell out a basic life for yourself. And then after World War II, if you have a high school diploma, by God, you can have a car and 2.5 kids and all that. Well, if you're white, and at this point, if you had a higher education than the average layman back in the day, you would be in great shape. People who could read and write and do arithmetic were able to make more money. They were able to have a higher standard of living. They were able to have a better life because of that education. And that translates all the way up into the 50s, when people with a college degree, it doesn't matter what it's in. It's just, if you have a college degree, you're considered more educated and you get a job. Now we live in a world where the basic standard of education you need to have a good standard of living should be a college education. The problem is up to this point, the basic education you need as a layman was either free or so inexpensive that it wasn't a hindrance for the average layman. College is a financial hurdle, and it is arguably the first time that the basic education every person needs to have a standard of living in this country is put behind a colossal paywall that the average layman finds as such a large expense that it's almost irredeemable. It negates the value of that standard education. My family is currently staying with my stepfather's childhood friend. His parents are old, very old. His father has recently passed in the last few years, and his father, and I'm just going to call him Sam to protect his identity, had a very storied life. He was young enough to watch the Hindenburg crash and burn. He was a volunteer fighter and policeman. He saved people from wildfires. He made most of his money from being a landlord in Savvy Investments, and now his widow and who now lives on a property that's multiple acres long, and that is the trail I'm currently walking on. And they have a wealth of land, a beautiful house, an elegant library, and all of these things based on the wealth that they accrued during a time where you didn't need where a college education like they are could get you extremely far in life. The average American today the average young person today is more educated by both traditional and non-traditional means compared to our older counterparts when they were our age. But because we don't have access to the bare minimum education we need to have a good standard of living, we end up having to reevaluate what success looks like. To me, success looks like I'm able to have all my bill paid, go out to dinner and not have to worry about a bill. And invest in things I want to and not have to worry about those investments failing. And I'm not entirely sure what that number is, and that's just my opinion of success. So Sean, I have a quick question for you. What does success mean to you?
Hey, thank you so much for supporting HIMedia, and I hope you really enjoyed the video. If you want to continue to support us, you can check out our web app here, which has all our podcasts, all our videos, our Twitch stream, and links to all our social media and our merchandising store, where you can support us by buying all our interesting and cool merch that we've worked so hard to put out for you. If you want to support us more directly, please consider donating at our support link right here. Thank you so much for watching the video, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Poggers.